Well, I was sitting here, as you can imagine, trying to think of something that would be interesting to talk about, something that I've been wondering about. And really, what popped into my head is what a mess we've made of religion here in the West, that we've really missed all the good parts of it because we've defined it in such a crazy way. You know, that religion here really is about salvation, about not going to hell, about saving your soul from this imaginary pit of fire somewhere there, where a God of love is going to torture you and roast you for eternity, because that's what a God of love would do, obviously. And so we've created an entire religion that's all about saving yourself from fire. And we miss out on the beauty of this, of what real spiritual life is about, which is finding out who you are. What is your relationship to this experience of being in this world that never seems to resolve and never seems to stop changing? Everything is what it is just for a short while before it morphs into something different, and we're always just trying to stay a step ahead of it, having no idea of what it is and what it means. And the oldest sages, the traditions that have been working the longest at this problem, have really given to us what I think is the beauty of religion, which is the freedom to love, the freedom to be, to know what you're being when you when you are, to know that your nature is this Satchitananda. And there's a wonderful verse that I wanted to look up. I should have looked it up before I got the video going, so maybe I'll have to do something a little bit more involved with it here in a minute, but I'm hoping that I can find this quickly enough to, yes, here we go, to share it with you. And this is from Sri Ramakrishna, and he's talking about the different ways of experiencing God, of experiencing our relationship with the beloved, which, yes, in a place, even within the tradition itself, it's a placeholder, that we're not much on relationships with imaginary beings, although at the beginning of spiritual life, definitely, that's a lot of the times how it starts, but it doesn't stay there. That's the quite startling thing about spiritual life, is that it's self-evident once you begin getting into it and calming your mind and becoming more subtly aware of your experience of being. Very interesting things become apparent to us. And so the Master, in talking about ways that we can sit down and enjoy the Lord, he says, the Master went into an ecstatic mood while watching the evening worship of Kali, the Divine Mother, in the company of the devotees. He was in no condition even to salute the image. Very carefully he returned to his room, and the devotees sat down. He was still in an ecstatic mood. And in that ecstatic mood, he spoke to them and said, "Sit down and listen to my words." So here's a guy that's, from within the tradition, him being in samadhi means that he's in a state of God awareness, that he's seeing things as they are and not just as the mind is telling him. And what he wants to tell them is so beautiful and really quite fun, I think. The Master says, "Sit down and listen to my words." Turning to the devotees, he said, "God can be enjoyed in different ways. An ecstatic lover of God can enjoy God in different ways. Sometimes he says, 'Oh God, you are the flower and I am the bee.' So God can be enjoyed as beautiful, as a natural symbiotic relationship between us and this divine love and divine wisdom from which this universe manifests. So you can enjoy God as the flower and you be the bee. Sometimes you are the ocean of love, wisdom, and being, or God is the ocean of love, wisdom, and being, and you are the fish, just enjoying everything as divine, kind of understanding and taking the position that this whole world is a love letter from the universe to itself. And you get to enjoy it that way, swimming in the ocean of Satchitananda, in the ocean of love, wisdom, and being. Be a fish. Sometimes again, the lover of God says, 'I'm your dancing girl,' and he dances and sings before the divine. So we can enjoy God as as that. The little drummer boy, I guess that's a direct experience of that sort of ideal. He thinks of him sometimes as the friend of God, and sometimes as his handmaid. He looks on God sometimes as a child, as did Yoshido, and sometimes as a husband or a sweetheart, as did the gopis, right? He says the love of the gopis were Sri Krishna, who was an older incarnation of God, a previous incarnation of God. And the gopis were the milkmaids in town, and the cowherd boys were there as well. And they all used to love hanging out with Krishna. He would play his flute, and they would dance around the fires in the campfire in the woods and have a grand time. So the love of the gopis was like the attachment of a woman to her paramour. They were intoxicated with ecstatic love for Sri Krishna. A woman cherishing illicit love is not very keen about her own husband. If she is told that her husband has come, she'll say, "Oh, well, what if he has? There's food in the fridge, he can help himself." But if she is told of the arrival of a stranger, jovial and handsome and witty, then she will run to see him and peep at him from behind a screen. And so to worship the beloved, to know God as the jovial, witty, and handsome stranger, would certainly give a few entertaining meditations. And really, that's the fulfillment of life, to come to know that you are this love, this combination of love and wisdom, manifesting, expressing through being. And that if you live accordingly, life is its own answer. It is its own purpose. And religion really is about opening the enjoyment of this experience of being, to learn how to enjoy without getting caught, right? Without having to suffer, to find the freedom from suffering that Buddha had found, and to learn to live our life in that light, so that we literally become a gift to the divine which dwells in everyone and everything. And in the end, it's a unity, it's a oneness. The imagination breaks away, falls away. You realize that all of this creation was just imagination in a form or another, and that its reality was this eternal union, this eternal oneness, who is the pure potential of an unconditioned love, a deep and abiding wisdom, and isness, existence itself. So enjoy your quest to find out who and what you are. Enjoy the life that you're living. Be free in it. And know that spiritual life is much more than saving yourself from fire. It's something much more beautiful. And I'm not even sure that saving yourself from fire is even one of the things that it offers. But I leave that to those more interested. So enjoy life. Let your love out, as it were.